And what we're actually searching for is what we're searching, that love and acceptance for ourselves. And one of the biggest things that I think I've learned in probably the past 2 years is I was always trying to grow and change myself because there were aspects of myself that I didn't like and I resented. And what I've changed it to in the past couple of years is I'm going to love every aspect of myself. And what I realized is that if I try to change it, it gets stronger. If I love it and I accept it, it kind of chills out. And it doesn't disappear. Like I'm not like, yeah, these parts of me don't exist. It's me looking. Like internal family systems is a therapy where you look at all parts of you and who you are, and you try to figure out a way to understand how the entire orchestra works together. You know, when I was writing my book, I was sitting there and I was going so hardcore. Like you and I come from the world of creating viral videos. I would spend so much time on every single line to make sure it was perfect, right? Because I wanted to make sure, like, I've only got 30 seconds or a minute to get the message to be as clear and concise as possible. Let me try to make it as perfect as possible. And I used to do a lot of poetry and I used to do a lot of songwriting when I was younger. So I was used to making every line as potent as I could. As I was writing this book, I was like 16 rounds of edits in, editing every single piece of it. And there was a part of me that said, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? And I was like, I want to write a book that helps people and changes people's lives. I want someone to not know what the Mindset Mentor podcast is, but they walk into Barnes & Noble, they see this book and they're like, interesting, let me read it. Let me pick it up. And they read it and it changes their life. And then I played devil's advocate and I said, but you also want it to be successful, don't you? You also want it to be a New York Times bestseller. So you can have a little badge to put on yourself and say New York Times bestseller. You want it to be this incredibly selling thing because you know if it takes off, you're going to make great money for a very long time if it's a perennial seller. And I thought to myself, okay, can I use that egoic side of me to actually help me create a better book? And I could. And so what I realized is instead of hating that aspect, it's like a tool in my tool belt. When I need to bring that side of me out, I can bring that side of me out and say, you know what? I'm going to create the best freaking book that I can, or the best podcast that I can, or the best reel that I can to try to impact people. And so it's not about like trying to force change on myself. It's about loving every aspect of myself, the quote unquote good and bad, even though there is no good or bad, but every aspect of Rob. And if I need to use it, I can bring it up and say, hey, Rob, I need this version of you right now, but I'm not going to fight it anymore.
Yeah.